Welcome. So today we're going to be making chicken soup. To make this, it's definitely not going to be homemade, but we are going to use about 3 pounds of chicken breast, pound of carrots, pound of celery, a couple of onions, and this is where we're going to start cheating. We're going to use this chicken stock, about 2 boxes of it, and for a little extra flavor we're going to throw some bullion cubes in there as well. And we're going to need a little bit of oil to cook the veggies with. And before I forget, egg noodles. Because what chicken soup is complete without egg noodles? And I'll get back to y'all when we start chopping everything up. Massive chicken breasts, which are just like, goddamn, look at this thing. It's like, I've seen turkeys with smaller breasts than this. So one of the other things I'm doing is I'm going to be making stuffed chicken breast today, and that's what kind of caused me to make the soup. Because I have a lot of wasted chicken that I'm going to have to peel off of this monstrosity. And I figured I may as well make it into a soup. So, I'm going to take the chicken breast, kind of carve it into smaller respectable pieces, and kind of go from there. What we're going to be looking for is about 1-inch cubes. About, maybe a little smaller depending on how you feel like. But I got the second course chicken breast like fillets over here, all nice. Now to get working on the rest. Now the good part is, because it's a soup, you don't really have to be too careful about how you trim them. Just kind of want to have at it. All nice and sexy. And there you go. Got a bunch of chicken pieces about that big. I'm going to be doing the rest just like that. So when I'm done with that, we'll get to the veggies. How the hell do I turn this son of a bitch off? We got 1 bowl of chicken. And I found an extra chicken breast in the oven, or not in the oven, in the fridge, which I decided to chop up too, because that's what's the best part about making soup. You make it at the end of the week when you have all these leftover like uncooked parts like chicken breast lying around, and it'll be perfect in there. So we got the chicken done. Now we're going to work on the carrots and celery. It's time to move on to the vegetables. Now before I start cutting up on the vegetables and everything like that, I want to make it clear that I did wash everything all over again, so we don't have to worry about chicken chunks all over everything else. Now if you guys haven't watched me cut an onion yet, I don't know how, if you've ever seen any of my other videos, but I'll show you how it's done. Cut off the tip of it, not the part with the hair, but the other part. Cut that off so it stands still. Straight down the middle. Just like that. Feel it? Damn. It's the trash. So we're going to peel off the top layer of it pretty much. Throw that crap out. Can't, man. Don't you fight with me. This is happening. Alright, there we go. So, we got that part. Gonna take it on like this and just go straight down the middle. Just like that. We're gonna want little chunks for the soup. So I'm cutting it into a little fan like this. See that? Just like a little fan. So that way, when it's time to actually get to cutting, I really should put the camera on the other side, but I don't care. I'll do this. It's nice and fine, little pieces coming off of it. Do a little close up. See that? Just nice little fine little pieces sliding off. That way I don't have to keep going back and forth over it with a knife. You can cut a couple of other kinds of vegetables like this too, but the onions are the best for it because they have those little layers inside. There we go. Roll down, and I'll get back to you when I'm done. I'm going to peel a bunch of carrots. It took me about 15 minutes to find this damn thing, so I don't want to talk about it, but once I peel all these little suckers, I'll show you what size to chop them. Alright, 1 pound of carrots peeled. Stay. We're going to cut the end off. Throw it in the trash. Cut it down lengthwise, probably with a larger knife that still has onion chunks on it, which is fine. Gonna cut it in half lengthwise. Cut it in half lengthwise again. We're gonna just slice it up like this. Need the end. There we go. Cool. So we got onions and we got carrots, a pound of each, and now it's time for the celery. Where's this little bastard? There we go. What we got in here? Cut off the end. We're gonna rinse these off because God knows what the hell they've seen. Remember to wash your produce. Birds like to poop on fields. Alright, so on these, just line them all up. And a little slice, just like that. There you go. You got the weird looking one. Add it to our bowl. We'll do the other one too, just in case. Camera. There we go. Give it a rinse. Stack it all up. There we go. We'll throw that out because I think we have enough. So that's about 3 pounds of vegetables that we're going to put into the soup. But before we do that, we got to do something a little special with the veggies. I'll turn you towards the stove in a second. Welcome to the oven side of the house. So what we're going to be doing here is we're going to start sauteing those vegetables. But the secret to this is we got to set the heat to like medium, and the camera's falling. God damn. Alright, let me see. Come on, little guy. Come on. Come on. There, don't be scared. There we go. Let's zoom that sucker. So I only set the heat to like a medium low. What you don't want to do is you don't want to actually like fry these veggies. I'm gonna add all of this to the pan, just like that. We're gonna lubricate it a bit. Got some oil. Gonna mix it all up and just let it do its thing. We're just going to basically let it heat all the way through, but it's going to take a minute because there's, like I said, about 3 pounds of veggies in here. And that's going to take a hot minute to, well, get hot, and it ain't going to be a minute. But the good news is, while this is happening, I get to wash out the dish that this came in because we're going to be using that dish for the chicken. Swap sides with the dishes so that can just do its thing all the way across the stove over there, so it won't be in my way. While that's doing its thing, we're heating this pan up to pretty much as high as it'll go. Where the hell did I put the olive oil? There we go. Some kind of oil in there. I use olive oil because that's the closest thing to the door, and I grabbed it when I opened the cabinet. So once this gets up to heat, we're going to start browning all those chicken cubes that we set up earlier, and I'll get to you when that is done. So we got it up to heat. I did my initial chicken chunk test. Just going to start scooping the chicken over. We're not going to add any flavoring or salt or anything to it. We're just going to try not to overload the pan. So we're going to do this in 2 or 3 batches. Stirring it around, trying to get it browned up. I can do a little more. There we go. We're not worried about cooking the chicken all the way through. What we're trying to do is get that nice sear on it on all 4 sides. So that's going to be frying. Veggies on the other side are percolating pretty nicely. Let's see how these are doing. And we're going to give this a stir every once in a while too, just to make sure that we don't start burning it. And I may have done way too many vegetables because more are going on the floor than are staying in the pan. I'll get back to you when the chicken is ready. So what we're looking for is the chicken to turn brown like this. And once it gets that nice brown sear on it, we can dump it over to our little collection bin here. And then throw more chicken in there before the oil bursts into flames. There we go. We're going to do this about 3 times because we got 3 different sets of chicken. And after we're done with that, we're going to try to get all this chicken stock off the bottom of the pot with some water, but we'll burn that bridge when we get to it. Meanwhile, in the background, still simmering away. Second set, nice and brown. In the bucket it goes. Final set. Get in there. And that goes in. Gotta stir it up quick so the chicken chunks don't stick together. There we go. So, meanwhile on the other side of the ranch, you'll notice it looks like there's a lot less vegetables in there now. That's because they're settling down and the smell is beginning to get amazing. It's mostly the onions that deflate when this happens. All their juice comes out. We're going to try to boil off as much of that juice as we can while the whole thing is just sitting here stewing. Again, don't raise the heat. It's real important that you leave this only at a medium. If it starts searing, you're doing it wrong. So we got that going. We got our final set of this going, and I bet you didn't know soup was going to be so damn complicated. But that's okay, because in the end, it's probably not going to be worth it. But anyway, here we go. Third stack is ready and done. Now for the fun part. We're going to add a little water to the pan. Just like that. So a little bit of water, and we're going to get all these scrapings off. And for one, it's going to get us a nice clean pan. Not clean enough to put back, but a hell of a lot easier to clean later. And 2, we're going to dump all these juices right on top of the previous chicken, just like that. And we're going to save that for when it's time to combine with the soup. Alright, so that's that. Let's see where I can put this without burning myself. Alright, let's cool down. That's the problem with using all these plastic things. Let's see how we're doing over here. Turn the heat off over there. And the veggies are about done. They smell incredible. And that's how you know when they're ready. And when you get that really good just smell. So that's doing its thing. I dropped a bunch over there, so I gotta get that off. Nope, that's a dumb idea. Alright, here we go. Now to get the pot ready. Where the hell did I put my pot? Alright, real talk, where the hell did I put my pot? Not in the fridge. Oh, it's in the other pot. There we go. Gonna use the big ass pot today. Just gotta rinse it out because there's things living in it. There we go. BAP, big ass pot. Gonna grab our organic, all natural chicken broth. Don't really worry about organic, I just bought it because it was the cheapest. One. Yeah, man. Yep. 2. That's not going to look like there's going to be a lot in there, but that's alright because we're going to add all this to it. Add the chicken. God damn, that's nasty. We love it. Add the veggies. Give one more quick stir. There we go. Give that a good stir. Mix it all up. It's going to be some thick ass soup. Alright, we're going to crank the heat up on this to get it up to boil. Add some water to it. That'll work. So here's the secret. If you add water, you throw in some bullion cubes. Will kind of keep the flavor averaged out. And the reason why we started with stock instead of just pure bullion cubes is because for some reason stock just has better overall flavor. Bullion cubes are mostly salt. That's why I didn't put any salt or pepper in anything yet. I'm going to do that near the end when do a good taste test. And if you don't open up, I swear to God, I'm going to throw you underneath the truck. Here we go. 1. I'd say that's about 3 cups of water, so I'll throw 2 of these in there. 2. And if it's not flavorful enough, you can always throw in more. If it's too flavorful, you can always add more water. Pretty much just going to bring this up to a boil and let it do its thing. So we got the soup boiling, and we're going to let it do its thing for about 20-25 minutes, because remember, that chicken isn't cooked yet. We just browned the hell out of it. So we're going to give it a quick stir and make sure nothing's sticking to the bottom, and then we're going to put it back on the heat. Just going to let that sucker boil, but we're going to lower the heat under it once it starts boiling so that way it doesn't overflow. Now the reason why I picked this pot is because I had a lid to this pot. I no longer have the lid to this pot. Here we go. Beautiful. Gonna let it do its thing. So the last thing we need to do is we need to make the noodles, and for that I'm going to use this big ass pot again, and I'm going to fill it up with water. We're not going to use the same pot as the soup is in for water, because that'll make the soup way too starchy. By about now the soup has been cooking for about probably 30 minutes to an hour, somewhere in between there. So all the flavors are really mixing. And all we got to do is bring this to boil. So we're going to bring this to boil, and I'll get back to you when that happens. So we got the water boiling. Now we're going to add the super secret ingredient. Well, it was boiling, but I boiled most of it off because I wasn't paying attention. So yeah. So then we're going to try to peel this goddamn cube. Motherfucker. There we go. Halfway there. Gonna throw a couple of bullion cubes in there. Then we're gonna get the pasta in there right after the bullion cubes. We're just gonna basically cook it until it's done. How the hell did they seal this thing? There we go. 2 cubes. Now for the pasta, I usually just use like half of a bag. The bag's like, how heavy is the bag? What the hell? Doesn't say. Screw it. Here we go. 12-ounce bag, so I use about 6 ounces of pasta. Oh shit. You can see the cubes are dissolving pretty quick in there. See what's going on. Ah, yeah. I'm gonna add the pasta. I'm gonna cook them until it's ready. That way, we can add it later, and that'll keep the actual soup from getting starchy as hell. Anyway, that's the end of the recipe. I'll turn it back on when it's all combined. We got the pasta ready. It's a little al dente. We want it a little harder than normal. And then we're gonna drain it and dump it over to the soup. All right, there's the pot of soup. In goes the pasta. And give it a quick stir. We are done. That is going to be some thick ass soup. Let's see if I got enough minutes on that thing to pour out a quick cup. Got like less than a minute of recording time left. There you go. Bon appetit. Delicious hearty soup.